Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back again. Back again to talk about To Kill a Monkey. And I want to talk about another aspect of this movie. Now, this movie has been all the buzz. So much has been said about it. And one of the things that are being discussed is F.A. being called a traitor. And here is the thing. Is he really a traitor? Was he really a traitor? Did he really betray Oboz, or was it a case of being caught between a rock and a hard place? I don't think so. I don't share the sentiment that F.A. was a traitor. I don't think he ever meant to be. I really don't think he ever meant to be. But Oboz is not an easy person to deal with. Let's just go back to memory lane. Let's go back and visit memory lane. Here is F.A. He is a software engineer who is hard on his luck. He's having a hard time. He has a pregnant wife whose bills he can't pay. He has a mother who he doesn't have the money to bury. He's working a low-wage job, being spoken down to. In fact, he owes them money, which even further increases the disrespect. And he's just so hard on his luck. It happens by fate that he runs into an old friend, a friend which is Oboz, who saved his life, and he tells his friends all about it. And you can see the pain. You can see the pain in his eyes. His friend Oboz can see the pain in his eyes. And so he visits him and he begs him to please put him on, just give him something, give him a job. In fact, Oboz offered him a job. And then he came and he begged for a job and told him, the woes and struggles that he was having. So, feeling a great sense of love and even a form of indebtedness to F.A., he brings him in, he shows him where he works. And F.A. is excited. But he says to him, "That's my outside business. Can you deal with my inside business?" And that's where he introduces him to the inner workings of what he does, the much unsavory area of what he does. It's a lot of stuff from cyber crime, what you could see are Yahoo boys, fraud, a lot of stuff that was just not right, And after seeing all of this, he drives him back, and there's silence throughout the car ride, and his friend is saying to him, "You haven't said anything." And he's telling him, F.A. is leveling with him. He's telling him, "Listen, I can't do this. I'm not about that life." He just doesn't have it. And Oboz lunges at him, telling him, "You reject my hand of friendship?" Oboz is one of these people who are very impulsive. They are just very irrational in thinking. To them, a refusal is a personal disrespect. Okay, we see that in him when the girl who he tries to buy drinks for pushes him off. He gets very nasty and very, very impulsive. With such type of people, you got to give them a yes. You don't have a choice in the matter. And the only reason he got away with it, because he told him to his face, "Anyone who rejects me, there's consequences." And he said, "The only reason I'm letting you get off is because you saved my life. I owe you nothing." So he goes back to his life of poverty in hopes that he can do better, but he is wrought with more problems. And then he goes back and he tries to tell him, like, "Listen, I can make your business better." He informs him of his expertise in cybercrime, what would be cybercrime. And this could have worked. It could have worked well. But the problem was that when they now had a competition that wanted them to pay, number one, Oboz did not tell F.A. what was going on. He took measures into his hands that were drastic. And he just was so impulsive. He didn't think before he did things, putting F.A. in a very dangerous place, putting F.A. in positions that he's not prepared for. Oboz is ready for that. He's a rumble tumble guy. He's with that. He's about that life. That's him. But F.A. is a guy who, I don't know, would you call him a Christian boy, one of these sheltered people who just they're not about that life, they can't take those things. And so, being that his life was in danger and his wife's life was in danger, and Oboz's refusal to work with him, it put him in a position that he did not want to. When your children's lives and your wife's life is being threatened, now you're being forced in a position, an unpleasant situation that you don't want to be in. And you can even tell just looking at his face. At that final hour at the end, you could see that he didn't want that. In fact, because Oboz comes to his senses at the last minute, but it was too late. And to see that he was willing to lay his life down for him, you could see the regret. And many times when everyone said, let him go, leave him alone, he said, no, that's just how he is. He never wanted to leave Oboz, but it had become very dangerous. And he was pushed into a choice that I don't think he wanted to make. So no, I wouldn't say that he was a traitor. I don't like it, but that's what it is. So that's my take on it. What are your thoughts? I'd like to know. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.